How are all you doing? I'm just riding home. Thought I'd turn this thing on for a bit. Out here amongst all the factories, chemical plants, what keeps Texas alive, or at least this part. I mean, we felt it in 2008, but not like the rest of the country. A lot of that's due to the oil field and the chemicals. We got Shell and Exxon and a whole bunch of small companies. Well, I pull a tanker, I haul chemicals, so I'm directly related to them. I haul out of all the plants. And Pasadena, Deer Park, LaPorte, Houston, Channelview, not just here, all the way over, you know, Lake Charles, Sulphur, New Orleans area, pull out of Oswego, and what is that? Taft, St. Gabriel, Helma, just oil field, chemicals, that sort of thing. I've been back down into the Mississippi River loading before. Because where we load at there is like we were pumping out of barges. You know, you go down there with a vac tank, you pump out of a barge, and well, the river was up, and where you backed in was in the water. And it's just sand and stuff anyways. They got a dozer to pull you out. So you back in, you pump everything off, and dozer pulls you out, and you get on your way. Done a lot of interesting things. Been everywhere. Been everywhere in a padded cell on 18 wheels. That's what it becomes after a while. I mean, in the beginning, it's a lot of freedom. And it still kind of is. But in the same breath, you know, I've been by Disneyland and Disney World hundreds of times. I've never been in. You're stuck to that truck, shippers and receivers and truck stops and rest areas. You're always chained to that truck. Beautiful view. It's like having a padded cell at the insane asylum with a wonderful view. It is what it is. It's a living. That's just basically what it is. It's a living. Kind of ruined for anything else. I've been driving a truck since '97. What else am I gonna do? I know they want to get rid of me, force me into some job making a lot less money. I can barely pay my bills as it is. Granted, part of that's my fault. I'm the dumbass that buys 2 Harleys. But I can't pay my bills on the jobs they'd want me to take. So you kind of get stuck. I don't want to go over the road full time again, ever. I don't want to own another truck again. I've owned 5 of them. I don't want another. I'm not talking about being a lease operator. I'm talking I own them. I have my own truck. I've even had my own trailer. Trucks are definitely female, and they're jealous females. They can smell money in your pocket and they want attention. You're putting that money away. You're doing good. Well, she needs a new pair of shoes. Technically, she needs 10 new pairs of shoes. What's that noise? Need a AC compressor, an alternator, a starter, DEF or a DPF filter, just so many different things. New radiator, new EGR cooler. That was fun, going up Elk Mountain. That big, it's like a 3-inch hose between the oil cooler and the EGR cooler. That's the oil cooler and EGR. I believe that thing. And it's only like 2 inches long. It's a pain in the ass, but it dumps all your antifreeze at the same time. Well, as soon as it cycles it, boom. It dumps it all out on the ground. You don't have any more antifreeze. Or pulling Vail in Colorado, and I hear this clink, 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 clink. And I knew exactly what it was. I knew what it was by the clink. Some of y'all will get that. Some of y'all drive trucks, you'll know what I mean. It was that tensioner pulley. Belt tensioner pulley. It was like 20 below zero. I'm pulling Vail. I'm off in a chain up area. Lovely. A defog. Hold on. Company I was with was wanting me to get a wrecker. I'm like, I'm in a chain up area. I'm off the road because I was, you know, like usual, hauling hazmat. Called the guy. What is that town? I can't think of it off the top of my head. When you go down Eisenhower, Loveland Pass. So I usually don't go through Eisenhower because I got hazmat and I'm not going to wait on an escort. So I just go up and over Loveland. What is that, Silverthorne? Something like that. Anyways, you get down there to the bottom and I called this mechanic guy and I told him exactly what I needed. And he's like, well, I need to go out there and look at it, make sure that's what you need. And I'm like, look, bring this size belt, bring this pulley. If you need to get something else, I will pay you to go get it. But this is what you need. It's like, okay. And he brought it with him. But you know, they want to come look at it and then charge you the mileage to go get it and bring it back and all that good stuff. I'm like, no, 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 no. I know exactly what you need. There's no diagnostic here. I need a pulley and I need a belt. That's all I need. And I usually have a belt. I'll have, especially if you got one of them big serpentine belts. It's kind of a race car truck, but I'll have one zip tied to one of the brackets under the hood. That way if I throw one, I can put one back on. But it doesn't do any good if you don't have a tensioner pulley. You're kind of screwed at that point. A lot of it would be stuff like just sensors, you know, like that EGR hot pipe, that sensor gets dirty and you start throwing codes. It doesn't want to run right and it derates. And you learn, okay, pull the sensor out, clean it up, put it back in. You start learning how to do all that kind of stuff and which one's doing what. Well, you don't need an EGR valve, you just need to clean that sensor. They'll charge you for an EGR valve. Or the actuator, the EGR actuator. Had one shop tell me, we don't sell that separate, we gotta sell the whole thing. No, you sell it separate, here's the part number. I'll put it on myself. Kind of like bikes, you need to know how to do some of your own work, at least to some degree. I went to school to be a diesel mechanic. I worked as a mechanic for a while. I got my CDL to drive a service truck, and I was working on big link belt cranes, pettibone cranes, dozers and all that. Ended up as mostly hydraulic cylinders and hoses. And, you know, you put a starter on something and half the stuff you needed the crane anyways, so just pick it up, put it in place with the crane, come home covered in hydraulic fluid. Actually there were a couple, but this one, it's like a big Hitachi. You just park your service truck underneath it. You're standing on the bed. Those things are huge. They had the bucket turned around, make like a shovel out of it instead of an excavator. You'd go out there and you'd flip that stuff around for them. Kind of miss it, kind of don't. Long story short, I ended up just driving a truck. But having owned 5 of my own, being able to work on them was a lifesaver. But with all the emissions and everything they put on them, it's just one more thing that's going to break. One more thing, one more added expense. Like when my dad or my stepfather, when he was driving, a driver would keep somewhere between 1/4 and 1/3 of what they made. The rest of it would go to the truck and taxes. And then you had to pay taxes off of that. Well, when I started driving, it was somewhere between about 1/5 and 1/4. When I stopped driving, it was like you're keeping maybe 1/5, probably a little less. Because you have all these extra expenses. There are things that are still going to go out. Almost like clockwork. It doesn't matter if you're driving a Peterbilt or a Freightliner or any of that. You get about 400,000 miles on them. You're replacing alternators and starters and stuff, and you got another batch that's going to come around 100,000. You know, 1 million's not even close to wore out, but you're probably looking at a clutch or something. I can get a lot more than 1 million out of a clutch. I've owned a truck that I put 1,800,000 miles on. Never had to put a clutch in it. Put a lot of other stuff on it. Never had to put a clutch in it. It's not so cold. Going home a little bit earlier. And no codes. Awesome. That is awesome. I'm wondering if the dew was affecting it, like the dew point or what have you. The one code was a knock sensor. That I think was right after I got my fuel. So I'm thinking that was the fuel that caused that. The fuel, and I probably lugged it or something, who knows. Or maybe even when I got on it. But it hasn't came back. And it's not running bad. So I think that's just one of them things of, you know, it's a history code, not a current code. And it's just something that it read. The other code was for the taillight. What I'm going to have to do at some point, I don't know if I'm riding this bike tomorrow, I might ride my other one. Yeah, life ain't bad. I can ride my other Harley. If you can say I can ride my other Harley, life is not bad. As tired as I get, as chaotic as my life is, as much bullshit as I put up with, I can say I can ride my other Harley. That doesn't mean I have money. That doesn't mean I have anything else. One of the reasons I don't have money is I have another Harley. But I have another Harley. So life ain't bad. If you get that, you get that. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But I'll probably drive or ride the other one, and I want to go through the harness and see if there's a point, like maybe it's got moisture in it or a hot spot or something. But I'm wondering, because with the dew point and all that, when I end up starting my bike up at work and what have you, it's like just all covered with dew and wet, and there's so much moisture in the air down here anyways. Like that one video like a week or so ago where there was just moisture forming on my bike riding down the road. It's Gulf Coast. It's like the water's not coming out of the air, it's forming out of the air. And it happens. Just the way it is. So I think the knock sensor was just a random thing. Haven't got a code for it since, so we're good. But I am going to have to go through and check out the harness and everything, and the bulbs and the lights for my tail light. I don't know if I'll get to that this weekend or not. I might, I don't know, but of course, well, now, yesterday was Valentine's. So tomorrow, Friday, is our anniversary. Yeah, we were going for a Valentine's Day thing, but the way it... I didn't think they were going to stop for a second. The way it worked out, to get people there, it ended up being the 16th. Well, Sunday, the 18th, is my youngest son's 21st birthday. So I'm probably going to be doing something with him rather than with the bike. He wants to go out and get his first legal drink. I'm not stupid enough to think he hasn't drank before. Like, oh, my child would never do that bullshit. If you're my child, you're guilty until proven innocent. because I know my child. Never like that. The parents are like, my child would never do this, and their child was always the one that was doing it. I don't know why. It's the parents that would say that their child would never do that. Those are the ones whose children were doing everything. And they could look so sweet and innocent when mommy and daddy were there. I'm hard on him, but I love him. That's what I'll be doing then. So it might be next weekend before I get to the wiring or anything on this bike. I need to check it out. I've been talking to Harley. They got a VIP thing, which I don't have for some reason. I thought I had on this bike, which would make the oil changes a lot cheaper. I gotta go back through my paperwork. They said I don't have that, and I thought I did. I do have the ESP thing. So it's coming up on the 5,000 mile service. Let me check this out. And 500 miles. Well, 543 miles. It'll be due for the 5,000 mile service. And they're wanting like $680. I'll try to keep my language clean, okay? Let's just say, no, I don't like that. It's not that complicated. You change 3 boxes. You go through, you check the fuel line, you check your clutch cable, don't have a throttle cable, but you still gotta check the pins and all that. Your fuel line, make sure the belt's tight. You know, you go over the bike real good, but it doesn't take that long. They could do most of it in like 15 minutes. The actual oil change itself will take longer. I don't see where it warrants that. Now, you know, just for warranty and all that, I wouldn't have a problem if they said like $300-400. Still too much, but I'd probably pay it. But they're just price gouging at this point. And the other bike's coming up on it too. So I got 2 bikes coming up on oil changes, and my pickup is coming up on an oil change. I got 3 vehicles coming up on an oil change. Her car just got one. So all of that has to be done. Just lovely. I'm not going to pay like $1,400 with tax and all that. Probably would be closer to $1,500 with tax, just to change the oil and look over the bike and say, okay, everything's good for 2 bikes. So I'm shopping around. My dealership closed, and I knew everybody there. You know, the new dealership isn't sounding that great. The one they moved all their stuff to. I mean, I'm still going to check them out, but the guy that was supposed to transfer over there didn't, the one that I like. Mancuso's sounding better and better. If you're in the Houston area, you got a Harley, who do you use? Who do you use for your service work and your repair work and that sort of stuff? Let me know. I'll be willing to check them out. But anyways, you gotta know how to do stuff. Even if you're going to pay someone else to do it, you need to know how to do it, how to diagnose, what have you, so that someone doesn't basically rob you. And shops will do that. Shops will definitely do that to me. I had a Ford Explorer. I call it the Ford Explosion. My son called it Old Squeaky. So it was always squeaking. That thing had some grease worms. And I didn't give a shit about that car. Most of the time it sat in a parking lot at wherever I worked, and I drove whatever vehicle, or I drove my truck and I kept it at whatever company I was leased to. Because if I was at home, you know, Amy had a car. If I was at the yard, I had a car there at the yard, and I could go places in it. And when I was leased onto a company up in Oklahoma, that worked great, because I'd hop in my car and I'd go see my mom. But where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh yeah, I was getting an oil change, and all I wanted them to do was to change the oil. That's all I want. I don't want to deal with the extra oil. That's the only reason I have you doing it. And I'd already put a new filter, you know, air filter and all that kind of stuff in it. And they took my filter and they rubbed it on the ground, and they said, "Oh, you've got a dirty filter." And I said, "I've got a free oil change." I talked to their manager, and well, I got a lot of work done, and it was all free. I may be a blonde, but I'm a dirty blonde. It's not really blonde anymore. It used to be. It used to be strawberry blonde. Now it's like light auburn, or I don't know what you call it, dirty auburn, whatever. It's a mixture of blonde, brown, and red. If I wear red, my hair looks red. If I wear anything else, it generally looks like light brown. So yeehaw. What gear am I in? Oh, that would suck. Whiskey throttle your bike into a moving train. That would really, really, really suck. At least it's not so cold. It's going to be raining this weekend. That's another reason I'm riding to work and back, get my time in. Mental health purposes. I'm not good without a dog and a bike. I need both those things. But yeah, if you're gonna drive a truck, you're gonna ride a bike, you're gonna do anything like that, you gotta know, even if someone else is doing the work, you gotta kind of know what's going on, or people will take advantage of you. I may do the 5,000 mile service myself, fill out the form and everything, document it, film it for in case anybody says anything. I may do that. It's not that hard. Bye-bye, Mr. Train. Ding, 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 ding. You ever have them go up and back down? Especially on a double track. And now it wants to change. I've had them come down. I was in Lamar, Colorado, and they were working on the tracks, and I have to stop because I have hazmat. And as I'm crossing, they tripped that thing and it went down, and it hit my trailer and I broke it off. And there's no train, but it went down. I had to pull in there if y'all know where the Loves is, and I called the cops and everything, let them know. I was like, there's nothing I can do. It came down, there was no train. Can I get a green light? It's not too much to ask. It's not picking me up. It just cycled through without giving me a light, I think. Everybody gotta have a snorkel. You got a snorkel on that thing. It probably goes in and out of a job site as far as just over the curb. There's no need for the snorkel. Except during hurricane season, then there might be a need for the snorkel. Possibly. The road is shit. As bad as it was, they filled in a couple of the potholes, but it's mainly because of the road being moved over, patched, moved over, redirected, everything else. You gotta watch it. They got some grooves that will throw you down. Then you gotta watch where the trucks pull out. There'll be dirt and gravel and mud. I hit mud the other night. Not through here. Back closer towards Baytown. And that was where trucks pull out. They pull in, pull out. There's basically a bunch of dump trucks and stuff like that all day. I think they got a pit going over there. And it was like that sprinkling rain kind of thing, where it's not really raining, and it just had it like nice hard slick mud right across the road, and that was enlightening when I hit it. Like, oh good lord. So if you're making a trip anywhere, to the store, to the gas station, to your cousin's 300 miles away, always bring a spare change of underwear for just such an occasion. You might need it. That little groove grabbed my tire. That car with its one bright headlight, can't see shit. It's like you're looking at the wall. You don't want to ride towards it. What the hell was that? Should have something to guide. My bag's still there. I went clunk. Off the groove. But anyways, I'll take a look at my bike. I think I just picked like one of them little marker things up off the road. Little buttons, whatever you want to call them. That or a rock, I don't know. But I will catch y'all later. Y'all take care. You're awesome. Adios. Ciao. Bye. See ya.